Salam peeps and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be decoing a squishy, and the squishy that I've decided to deco today is this SG squishies. There's two, and as you can see at the back, it's all defected. It's all smushed like this. It's the kind of smush that won't rise up again, as you can see. So here's the thing about decoing. If you guys know the kinds of decos I've done before, I like to paint the whole squishy, front and back. However, for this one, I really like the texture of the squishy itself, and so I did not want to paint over the whole thing. Because of that, I have decided to deco it as something that is also blue, Snorlax. If you guys don't know who Snorlax is, he is a character from the Pokémon franchise. He is quite known for his love to snooze. I mean, his name is even Snorlax. To start off with the deco, we have to first make the colors of Snorlax. The first thing I want to do is put more paint. Here you'll be able to see how I make it. First, I put white glue. I don't actually have proper measurements. I kind of just mix it based on what I feel. For this deco, I need quite a bit of this white puffy paint because I have this whole face thing that I need to cover first. And I think I'm gonna do it by adding like probably some kind of glaze, like a donut glaze on top of this. We'll see. Next is shaving cream. I actually prefer spraying it onto something else first so I can keep the can upright. Anyway, here comes the first step. Oh my god. Is this camera focusing? Focus. Mixing. So what we're gonna have to do is add a base color to this, and that's where the acrylic paint comes in. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, right. That's off. Oh, I probably should have screwed it back on first. Oh well. Okay, now the white is in. Mix it up. Alright, so that is how it's looking right now. Looks pretty painty. However, you cannot smell this, but this shaving cream, it says regular here. This is like the most odorless I can get it. However, it still smells very strongly of shaving cream, which does go away a little bit when the squishy dries. However, not all the way. So here is where essence will help. And smells better now. Voiceover down here. I apologize for blocking the view with my hand there. I'm still getting used to filming, so you'll find that some framing scuffs will happen every now and then. Oops, sorry, out of frame. I need to work on that. Only I had a turntable. So here's squishy number 1, and we're going to set that aside to dry. Anyway, thick layer. No, the someone's trap. Okay, hold up. Maybe I should have pulled this out before. Oh no. Cut my fingers. Leaving it to dry. Let's hope the dust bunnies don't find it here. The rest of the paint gets covered in cling wrap to keep it from drying. This is what it looks like when the paint's dry. So now I will add another layer of this paint. Hi, back to voiceover down. You see, I have a roommate who stays in this room almost all the time, so finding the right time to film myself work while talking to the camera is hard. Gotta resort to voiceovers. Now that I have covered the previous design well, wait, I need to put down some paper. Gotta make sure I don't get a mess all over my desk. As most paintings start, we need a sketch. Big red alert though. Do not use a pen to sketch on your squishy. Never ever. Do not give yourself the pain of having to cover up your pen lines. I'm not sure why it happens, but even after multiple layers, I can still see my sketch under the paint. Try using a pencil, like what all sane people would start with. Now I'm referencing an image from Google to draw this. I'll put the reference up in the corner here. I'm not the best with drawing from eye, so the struggle was real. I pulled through though. Oh, another thing about using pen, it smudges. Moving on to the smaller squishy, I'm using this reference over here. Just Snorlax with a sleepy yawn. I drew it on a little off-center, so I added a pair of Z's just to fill the empty space. Bringing out my palette now, I'm trying to mix a Snorlax color that is closer to the squishy's color than the reference. I see a variation in his colors throughout different art pieces anyway, so I just went with that. Once I had roughly the right color, I added white glue and mixed that in. Then I added the shaving cream. Not the best angle to film this, but oh well. I started painting the design, but then thought that my brush was a little too big for the job, so I switched to a smaller one. I quickly realized soon after that the brush was then too small, so I got one in a size in the middle of the other two. This one was definitely a lot better. Then I painted the base color of the smaller squishy. The colors turned out a lot darker than I expected, so I added some white paint to the mix. This worked out nicely because I could add some sort of shading to the Snorlax with the darker colors as the base. I'm planning to outline these squishies, so don't mind the messy edges. To mix the color for Snorlax's tummy, I used some puffy paint I made a while ago for my first deco, the heart donut. If you want to see that deco, you can find it on my Instagram at dd.squishes. So I used some of this paint and added white to lighten it up. Here you can see how the pen ink shows through the paint so clearly. I had to add so many layers, it almost drove me insane. Now I'm mixing the color for his paw pads. Just a light brown, some white, and then the rest of the paint ingredients. I mixed way too much color for this little spot though. Same goes for the pinks and purples right here. Mixing some white. This is for the toe claws? Claws. Yeah, that. Now I am painting over the glaze base again to clean it up. The pen smudges made it all dirty, so it had to be done.
Hello everyone! Welcome back, or should you welcome me back, because I have been sick for the past few weeks and have not been recording. If you hear me right now, I sound sick, and that is because I am. And I have been sick for weeks and I'm tired of it, so it's time to continue recording so I can actually get this done with. So, a little update on what we have here. They are looking pretty neat. However, if you're looking at this closely, you can see little lines there. Yeah, the lines can be seen and it's not the prettiest thing to see. So I'll try, and I repeat try, to cover up these little pen marks, and if that's impossible, then we've just got to go with it, okay?
I did most of the layering work off camera so you don't have to watch the mundane, repetitive process. And now I am outlining the design with brown puffy paint. I could have painted the outline with a brush instead to achieve a cleaner result, but I wanted a three-dimensional effect to make it look like icing on a real donut. This footage was sped up because I was being really slow and careful. Unfortunately, I did not have a piping tip, so the lines were extra messy. The further into lining I went, the lines came out thicker somehow. I got a little upset thinking I had ruined the deco. Here is how they are looking. The lines have not dried yet. I noticed how empty the design looked and decided, since I still had more puffy paint, to draw on some sprinkles. On the smaller one, I lined over the Z's because I almost forgot about them earlier. And ta-da! These two are a globby mess, and the Z's on the smaller one barely look like Z's. They do look a little better now that the lines are dry though. Now, to complete this big one, I'm painting on more sprinkles in pastel green and pink. I'm not sure why I chose these colors, but it was just a gut feeling I had and went with. Because I used a brush instead of a piping bag, these ones came out a lot more dainty than the brown ones. You can kinda see the difference. So here we have them. The lighting was not having it that day, I'm sorry. The sketch still shows faintly and the lines are wiggly, but besides that, I'd say I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. It is still nice and squishy and smells good, and I can still enjoy the feel of the original squishy at the back. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And do you have any suggestions for what kind of deco I should make next? I hope to see you all in the next video. Salam!